everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing a 30-minute session for Inge today. Thank you so much, Inge, for exploring this session with me. Thank you so much for your open-mindedness to share. Okay, I'm going to read your goals and get started here. You say, I seek to advance soul-body fusion. I click well with you and trust my guides, yours, you, me, and crazy good vibes to direct this lovely gift to the best interest of all and highest frequency possible. Thank you, Abbey. All right. I seek to advance soul-body fusion. Soul-body fusion, where you feel a deeper connection with your soul energy, animating your body energy, a oneness between the spirit and the body of you. All right. This is going to get really interesting. This would be the first time I've ever received goals like this. I'm curious to see how it relates to your energy field and your path. And let's just see what our guides want to say and how they want to guide this. So soul body fusion, this is going to be so interesting. Here we go. Advancing soul body fusion. All right. So I feel really worn out, to be honest. Like, okay, so there is this energy that's circulating here. It has to do with the heart. I'd say solar plexus, but it feels like heart, throat, third eye, crown, okay? It's like this sphere of circulating energy and it's attached to the body. And I'm only able to look through just like a corner of my left eye and I see outer space, okay? And I have this weight here. I'm looking at, what does this scene have to do with the soul energy? What does this scene have to do with the body energy? If I can get some feedback on that. Otherwise, right now, I'm just digesting this energy weight, okay? This is interesting. As I digest this energy weight, there is a massive door. And the door, you could say, is the size of the universe itself, and it's completely flat like a sheet of paper. And the door is vertically opening. And all it does is it opens like the clock hand goes around, and it opens like just a door that it revolves, okay? And you go through the revolving door. This door, like this flat sheet of paper, is just like the clock hand going all the way around to meet itself and then disappear. And it reveals what can only be described as another side of the universe. So I'm gonna sit with this, okay? I still feel the energy weight, but it's definitely not like it was. It's not as specific, but it's more scattered, like the stars in the universe are scattered. So the weight is as well. It's not just congested into one specific area. It feels like it's scattered in front of you. So I'm going to continue to experience the digestion of this, because energy balance, this is not energy balance. This is like, I feel like I'm falling forward on my face. You know, I don't feel harmonically just in the balance of the whole universe. I feel like I'm leaning forward. You are trying to achieve something grand here, and it may not be a conscious understanding, but I feel like you use the right words to try to define it. I just needed to say that because we're moving through this next scene into the next scene. Whatever that is, I don't know what it is yet. Seems to me like you're wanting to achieve a really profound awakening type experience. That is a soul-body awakening. So the closer the spirit becomes with the body, the more the body can interpret the all of the spirit. That you could have an awakening where you can be a true expression of your soul in your body in the human world. So part of that is we're going to have to clear out. There's some membranes that are slimy and gross looking that you've adopted that have nothing to do with your soul or your body. They were just ideas that you decided to drink out of the straw of that cup. But it was more like mud than it was clear consciousness, okay? I would define that as insecurities. It's part of being human to adopt insecurities and then have self-realizations and grow out of them. And then we look back in time and say, wow, what an incredible person I am to have gone through all of those manipulations and belief systems. And now look at where I stand and look at where I'm at. So I'm going to continue to see them as like slimy layers. And you feel as though when I point these out, you feel as though where I say these slimy layers need to go, you say, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know they're there. And I don't have any words to define, okay, what's this slimy layer about? I don't know. But I can see it. And some things you don't want to see on the same page as me. And I say it's okay, you see it in your own way, but I am going to show you what I'm seeing, and it looks like this to me. Where you're not able to see it, I guarantee you, where I'm not able to see something in myself, you will be able to. That's why we need everybody's eyes in order to see things through like a whole lens. So you're going to have to, in a way, trust me on this one. But it doesn't mean you have to do anything differently yet. Just be self-aware and then think about it and decide what that means to you. You're resisting. You don't, whatever this is about, you don't want to believe me and you don't want to believe it's true, and you refuse to see it. I tell you that, you know what this reminds me of? And maybe why this is mysterious and why you're having a hard time seeing it. Sometimes it's okay. Let's say that you've lived lifetimes where you did unspeakable things. That if I were to tell you you were ever that in some other lives, you'd be like, there's no way. There's literally no way I would ever do that. And so because you would be so certain that you've always been angelic for all time, every dimension and every space, then you would never really know all that you are. What I like to remind people is the reason why you are so you could say well-mannered or angelic is because you've learned lessons of what it is like to make other decisions, and you know what that creates to such an extreme degree that you would never do that again. And now being human, it would be hard to, with an ego and just a way that it is to be human, it'd be hard to interpret yourself as being in a certain way, okay? That is nothing like the way you are today. But they're saying for advanced soul-body fusion, they're wanting you to be completely open-minded to the extreme possibilities of all doors, of all realities, of all personalities, of all faces, even doing things you would never do, okay? Because it's easy in this one life as a human being that we know who we are, it's easy to say, well, I would never do that. But when you cross that line and start opening up to the expansiveness of your soul, isn't it wonderful to know that you've been there and done just about anything and everything? There's nothing ugly about learning. It might be hard to go step into those shoes and behave in those ways and see those choices in action, and then look at the great expanse of time and how that impacted so many souls and the degradation everybody went through because of your choices. That's hard, right? But that is incredible learning right there. And we all are grateful for souls that make choices on all sides of the fence. We always are. The human, harder to be grateful for that. The soul, grateful. Profoundness comes from experiencing every lens of that kaleidoscope. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to throw it out there that the slimy layer isn't slimy, but for some reason it is slimy only because it's not accepted. I'm going to throw it out there as this idea. I just want to see what comes, okay? You say, what if I don't want to feel dirty? I just laugh because it's like, I mean, it's one of those statements that I understand, but is it dirty, you know? There's so many things, so many choices that we can make that we think back and say, why did I do that? It was really slimy of me. Or I should have extended a hand to help, but I was just not in the mood and I didn't want to. Was it really a slimy decision? You know, like, there's always going to be times where it's going to look a little bit dimmer than choices than other times where they're going to look bright, and they're not always going to be perfectly bright. You know, there's going to be some stumbles in there. So for us to label this as dirty doesn't really work. I mean, there's something called life. So all of life is all, and that is beautiful. And so we need to see all experiences as safe and beautiful. And they're all happening for all the right reasons. And to find the answer to each riddle of challenge in our life is exciting, okay? This is doing some incredible, I mean, this is definitely working. I feel like I'm swimming in water in the ocean. And you're giving into yourself more as you're accessing what I can only describe as like an I am vast concept. And I am vast, and you're saying that this is a way that I want to perceive it in my human mind. It's like I chose a life that is a poisonous snake. I chose a life that is a soft bunny rabbit, or a kitten, or whatever. So we have our human perceptions of what is sweet and gentle and adorable, and things that are ew and gross and terrible, okay? And we can't really judge the snake for being a snake. We can't really judge the bunny for being a bunny. So you're starting to accept that you are vast, and that part of being vast is to be all. And that is a beautiful thing. You're creating the language, you're saying this, and you're saying that this is what works for you as a human, and you like this. I'm proud of you. I say yes, high five to that. You say, Abbey, this feels like too great a task. This feels like bigger than myself. I say, help define what you mean by that. We're talking about merging spirit and body on an awakening level where you walk the earth as your higher self, basically. And you say, that it's a tall order because your mind, it's almost like your mind has to filter through the card catalog of what is defined as safe without you realizing that's even going on. So how do you stop ego from having that control? And I remind you that this is a body soul thing, and that let's not see ego as bad, but as our friend. And when we see ego as our friend, we can start working with ego instead of wanting to get rid of it. Because don't throw ego away just because ego is ego. It's like, don't blame the snake for being a snake, or don't blame the bunny for being a bunny. Like, hard to blame a bunny because we like bunnies more than snakes. But the ego can be our friend too. We just need to learn how to work in harmony and encourage it to work in harmony with all that we are, and open up to revealing more secrets that we are ready for that. His ego is basically doing this because it loves you. And it's decided that for you to become this aware is going to destroy you. You're not ready for it. You won't fit in, or ... Ego is deciding that it's going to be too much. And so it's okay to train ego to reveal a little bit more, and let's just work through the next epiphany together. Because you're going to have to do some major, upgrades to your DNA and to your cells and to your... It's like every time you have an epiphany, it's almost like you become burst full of light, and then it takes time to adapt to that wisdom, that illumination. It takes time to adapt to that at a human level, surrounded by the society that we live in. It takes time, okay? So my guides, your guides are saying to, and you can craft affirmations however you want. Like, you can say, ego, I feel so blessed to have you as a part of my life. And I know you're here like a medium between my infinite soul and my body, but I'm ready to turn on the faucet full blast, and I want to have a circulation of flow between body and soul. And I want you to feel safe allowing that flow to come through. And some of this is an adjustment period. So I would really like for you to reveal something profound and full of light about my soul and my self-awareness. I feel safe allowing that to filter through into my human side, so I can continue to walk the earth as my higher self and my human self on earth. And ego, I'm welcoming you to reveal something to me. And do this regularly, because the more you can talk to your ego, the more your ego is going to just fade, because you're not going to need it as much, okay? You're going to realize that it's like you don't need the ground to stand on in order to know that you're not going to die from falling, if that makes any sense. But ego tells you that you need ground so that you don't die, okay? And it translates everything like this. But in the energy world, you don't need ground, because you don't need to die, because you're part of everything. So you see the translation of divine truth through ego in your human body and your connection with your higher self. It takes time to adapt to the epiphanies of profound awareness. It's not just a thought, oh, well, duh. No, it's like it's in your DNA now. You've been blessed with so much profound illumination through some epiphany event that it can't be argued with. Like, you know it in the cells of your body, okay? So that means that we're jump-starting, we are igniting the process, which you already started. You've already started. I can tell you've already started it, and you're doing a good job. And now we are continuing to take a bigger stride here. We're doing more energy communication beneath the surface, and we're making headway here. And we're giving you suggestions to keep it going, okay? Keep it going. So all this energy on the front is starting to shift so that it can be shared with what is behind you. And maybe it's funny how we don't realize how we move energy, but let's say you're trying to move forward in life. And so all your energy gets put in the front of yourself without you meaning to, but you don't need to move anywhere. You don't need to move forward in life. And so when you just accept where you are is everywhere, now your energy becomes balanced in everywhere, you see? And so it feels like we are shifting from everything has to go forward as fast as possible to I'm already the speed of consciousness. I'm the speed of something that is complete timelessness. I am the speed of all creation. I don't need to go any faster because I can't, because I'm already as fast as all. And I'm as slow as all, right? And my energy is balanced on all sides of myself. And the back of who you are is just as essentially important as the front of who you are, okay? And the top and the bottom and around. And it's just our consciousness, just remembering that is good for balance, okay? You're standing up straight. You're actually standing up straight. You're relaxing. There is a lot of tension here in the back of my arms, my elbows. I don't even know how that can be. How did it get so tense there? Then it goes across my shoulders and my back muscles. Like I can feel like I'm relaxed, but everything is tight when it comes to the back side of myself. So something about your energy on the back side of you is really tight. Okay. This is another one of those membranes, you know? It's not a slimy membrane. The other one wasn't either. It just needed to be looked at in this way so we could think a little bit more at the bigger advanced level, okay? It's almost like the tightness of the muscles is like you've had 3,000 Red Bulls in one day or something crazy like this. It's like it's tweaking out. It's way too over amped up. Like it's trying to do something, but all it's doing is wrecking itself. Don't let that concern you because it's not like vibrationally, it's not translating into the human world as completely as it is like really over exaggerated here. I'm gonna try to relax this down. Why did it get this way? You're starting to argue and you just argue and argue and argue and argue and argue, and it's just like hearing yourself talk. And you're not even saying anything of importance, like no decent points are being made here. It's just words constantly streaming out. It's like you have to say everything all in a single second, and that's not even fair to time or to life or to what you have to say. And it's completely disorganized. It's like a lake that wants to be a stream, and it's everywhere. And it's overcompensating for confidence. So if it just keeps talking, then maybe that will mean it's confident, but it's actually so not confident. It's causing an issue here. It's really dicey. It doesn't want to put its feet on the ground. It's too hot, it says. And it's just constantly popping and trying to avoid and get away from. And now there's a lot of anger, and there's just like a fight wanting to break out. And you don't want to work on this, or you don't want to talk about this, you don't want to acknowledge this, and you don't want to give any energy or power to this. However, look it's gone crazy. It's running amok. Like where's that energy coming from? It actually has to be, we have to spend time with it. We have to indulge in it. And that's not a bad thing because it's existing, because we're not doing that. We're trying to avoid the problem. This one, we need to like hang out in it. I am starting to understand you really don't like this problem. You really don't like this at all. You want to pretend that it's not there. You want it to not be real. And this one is way closer to home, like way closer to life, day-to-day life than that other layer. You want to advance yourself way too fast, faster than your cells and your DNA have been presented with those. You need to have moments of like the light pulses, and then you need several months to digest the meaning of what that was. And becoming awakened and enlightened, I wish it could happen overnight in a way that was healthy, but it's not realistic. It's like asking a newborn baby to walk and run and get your PhD all in 1 week and know how to talk. Hello? Why aren't you there yet, baby? Well, give the baby time to grow. Come on. Like, we don't want life to take time, but yet it's essential that life has to take time for us to learn. And part of that is in advancing that awakening process takes time as well. It's healthy for it to take time. It's like forcing I'm pregnant. I just want to have the baby tomorrow. That's not a healthy choice. It's not even realistic. Oh, I want to lose 50 pounds, but I want it to happen overnight. That's not healthy or realistic. This is not honoring the process of learning and growth and time. It's like we're avoiding that as part of this process. It has to be part of the process. So allowing time, gosh, you can't stand this one. The one that I first introduced you to, you were really wise and accepting of that, and that was really cool. It doesn't always happen that way, so that was really great. So, but this one bothers the living daylights out of you. Like, I need soul body fusion today. Stat. Advance, I'm there, I'm awakened, I see everything, I'm God. I'm not even there yet, man. It's like every day I get there, okay? And that's a good thing. And I can't make this go any faster than I'm allowed for it to happen, okay? And I can't outsmart my guides and higher self. I've tried. It just doesn't work. I'm just being a fool in a way. Trust me, I've tried to speed up this process. I've tried to alter time. I've tried all kinds of things. I've tried to take a future self and then merge it with my present day self. I've tried to alter timelines. I've tried all kinds of stuff. You can't do it. Why though? If I'm choosing to have soul body fusion, if I'm choosing to be awake today, then that's my statement. There's no wobbling. There's no, well, maybe I do. No, I am stating that I want that. But as a human being, I can't conceive of what that means. That is the truth of what has been revealed. And it's taken years for me I myself feel like I can outsmart this. I've not been able to outsmart this. Maybe you can outsmart this process, but we have a divine time, and we work together as a whole collective of all the humans here on earth. And we have a calling that is associated with our divine time, and something of a deep, deep, deep process that is so profoundly deep we can't even consciously conceive of it. And it's more infinite than we could ever have a clue how to understand or interpret that. It's like being able to digest a million knowings all in the blink of the eye and then speak it without words, and the human race just suddenly, bam, understands everything you just said. Are we there yet? Can we be, please? I want to be in this infinite, all-knowing space. Well, I guess I don't need the body then, because I can just be a soul. But I want to be that and be human at the same time, so that I can help change the world in this profoundly good way. That's a very human perception of what actually is best for the human race, or even what's best for your soul. So me talking about this, I want to see how you feel about this conversation. It does help, because you do want it to accelerate the process. That's your ego actually deciding that, and you not realizing it was ego all along. How are you going to learn how to know the difference? That is going to take time and practice. That's another part of this soul-body fusion, is being perceptive, taking notes, being a soul scientist, like an energy scientist, learning and growing and sharing as you adapt, as you discover your talent and your gift, as you allow that to flow through you. That's another one of these layers I'm running into. All right, Inge, I'm gonna ask you. So, once you let's just say it like this, okay? Once you've achieved soul-body fusion, what are you going to do with that? And I use the word once you have achieved it, because that represents the concept of time that won't ever happen. So, now, when will you achieve soul-body fusion? How will it be achieved? Is it achievable? Can we conceive of it? Is it just a one thing and then we're done? Or is it for the rest of our life we're developing a relationship with it? Now, what is your vision of what flows through you at your mind's conception of when that happens? It's okay, let's work on a vision of, okay, Inge, you've achieved the goal, okay? You're the most profound soul-body fusion you'll ever be, okay? And what does that look like? What do you look like? How do you speak? What are you doing? How are you impacting the planet? How are people impacted by you? Write these questions down and write down the honest answer. Because we got to work with this vision, okay? In order to understand what your purpose is. Because you really are wanting to access the root of who you are, to be who you are as purely as you can be, as the soul, awakened in the body as one. Your higher self walks the earth. But you have a task to do. How will you know when it is time to do that task? Only once you've achieved soul-body fusion at this conceivable level will I know then, and then can follow through on it. But they're saying you're already there enough. Let's just use that. And would you disagree? By the way, your energy is like not a teeter-totter going back and forth now. I'm not falling on my face. I'm not like, okay, this is getting better. Now I'm just like, I am okay. I am like an egg standing upright in the universe, and I'm not wobbling in any direction. I am complete. I am whole. You're feeling rich, energetically rich. It's nice. And you're trusting more in yourself and what you've come here to do and who've come to be, how you... And I feel, I'm going to stick around for just another second. I feel like it's very important that I give you a face on the back side of your body, because you're really focused on the front and refusing to give any credit, time, or energy to the back of yourself. It's almost like it's really extreme. I've never seen it this extreme before. You're terrified. When I put a face on the back of your head, you freak out when you look down. I say this is good. This is going to help you balance. It's not like you need a head back here, but it's just to emphasize that the backside of you is just as important as the front, just important as the top and the bottom and all sides. You don't have confidence in yourself and you're crying. I'll never be that. I say, okay, let's talk about this. We need the awakening, and the awakening then is the person that then helps us to just know the human, to know what our calling is. But part of being human is to not know. So you literally are going to have to pull something out of thin air and see what that means to you and work with something invisible. And you have to build a skill from a place of the not knowing. And it's going to feel so weird and impossible because your ego is going to tell you, well, we can't work with material that we can't touch or think and understand or know for sure. You know, that's ego deciding what we can or can't do. I say you are ready to step up a level here in who and what you are, and make room for that. And you don't have to move, you don't have to accelerate the process. You just need to try something out. I really encourage people, however you can, to give your voice a try. It's fun, actually. And it's fun. And people know more than they give themselves credit for. Inge, I guarantee you know really interesting things about the spirit realm and just about things that you've experienced, been through, stuff that's helped you grow. That right there is when you are truly channeling your higher self through your human self through into the world, and you become a medium between the realms into the world, and you start to share the gift of your knowing with others. And now you inspire people. Now you're walking the earth as a wise person that has learned some things. When you can have a voice, like through TikTok or through YouTube or Spotify or some platform, where you can just simply state in 30 seconds or 2 minutes, hey, I had this interesting experience. This is what I learned from it. And it's a spiritual thing that you really enjoy, that subject matter, and you want to share to help other people something that you learned. It's going to activate you. It's going to give you more room and more confidence in yourself and what your calling is. Give it time to make sense. Because when you try something new, all of this junk's going to come out. It's going to start saying, oh, this is stupid. Oh, you think you know something. You need to stop right now. Well, you know, it's all ego getting in the way. It's putting the block there between your awesome soul-body fusion, you know? And so that's why we have to be aware of that ego and build a relationship with it, because everything is a safe experience. And ego, we're going to bring in more to our life by interacting and sharing more with the world and giving more of ourselves to the experience so we can learn more about ourselves and our calling. So I will say you feel amazing. You feel breath coming in, going out. You feel harmonically meditative. You feel you cherish your higher self, and you cherish your guides, and you cherish your life, and you cherish your beautiful human body. You feel like you are more cherishing of yourself, and you're starting to look at how fast you move. You yourself actually are a fast moving soul, so maybe that makes sense why you're attracted to acceleration, because you like to move fast. Even it's just maybe part of your little like soul style, because already you're saying, you know what, I am confident and I can do something. I can try something. If I have to be part of the ingredients and the recipe, I have to do an action in order to activate more of the soul body fusion, then I'm confident enough to do that. And I love myself enough that I'm willing to try new things. And I'm starting to understand this about the ego. And I'm starting to understand time. And I'm starting to understand the gratitude I have for this whole process and for myself. And I'm starting to understand the divine time. Like, you're quickly like click, click, boom. Like, wow. Like, all you need is a little bit of conversation, a little bit of seeing things from different angles, and look at you go. If your back starts to get a little achy, just visualize light going into it, because my back is starting to feel really achy because we slowed that tightness way down, which means that it's changing. So you may feel differently on the back side. Just give it a few days to totally move all the way through, okay? Because between the energy world and the human world, it's got to move through the energy world, through your physical body, and then things become new, okay? And it's just, I feel like my back aches after slowing all that down. So if your back feels a bit achy, it's not gonna last. Just give it a few days, okay, to get through the digestion process, because it doesn't need to be tense and tight like that anymore. It can just be chill now. It can just relax now. And you can visualize just light and just love your backside and send light into it and those beautiful muscles. And just hug yourself from the back and hug yourself from the front, and just, yeah. Everything feels even calmer just me doing that little bit there. I feel so relaxed. Thank you for this so much. Thank you for your openness to share. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all have a very marvelous rest of your day.